Hello, Don't Die Rusty Nation. This week's guest is Kelly Lovelace. He's been a long-time guest on the show, and he's going through some health issues. He has cancer, follicular, I can't remember. We'll talk about it in the episode. His wife has breast cancer, and they're going through it at the same time. And we had a conversation about this, and it wasn't all about that, but it's about strength, resiliency, just being a better person. I've I hate seeing friends go through such health issues. I hate anybody going through health issues like this. It's just not limited to my good friends Kelly, but it's one of those things that you wish you could help. You wish you could take pain away. You wish you could do something. And what you have to do is you have to call. You have to let them know that they're seen. You have to text inspiration. You have to do whatever you can to be there for those people. And especially, like for me, I be there for Kelly. Because he's been there for me. And this episode is one that I really wanted to do. And Kelly, actually, this was the second day of his treatment. He had one more day after that, and he's tired. But he wanted to talk about this. So I hope you sit back and listen. And really, truly listen to what Kelly has to say in our conversation, because I think it'll teach you something. I think it'll show you the strength that you might have within you. I think that you can see resilience, not only in Kelly, but maybe find it in yourself if you ever went through such things. And like I said, sit back and listen to this conversation, because I loved having it with Kelly Lovelace. Little bit. Yes. Well, hello, Don't Die Rusty Nation. You know, you have friends that are going through a bunch of stuff, not good stuff either. And that's Kelly. And then my guest tonight is Kelly Lovelace. We've been on many, many episodes together. And Kelly, it's hard to see a friend go through the stuff he's going through. I'm not going to say I've been through it myself, because I haven't, but my family has. I had my sister, my mom, my dad, other people in my family have had cancer, but this is a crazy thing. And we're going to have a discussion tonight. We're not going to even have a discussion. We're going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And Kelly had a treatment today, and he'll explain a little bit of his cancer, but I have not ever experienced, and I know probably some people have, but his wife has cancer too. And to be going through 2 treatments, 2 cancers, 2 of everything, and both of you, I mean, we'll get into this conversation, but that's an amazing thing to go through. It's a tough thing to go through. I can't imagine, like I said, I've been around I've been around cancer, but I haven't, not into to this depth that you're going through. So, Kelly, if you want to tell us a little bit about your cancer and your wife, and then I'm going to ask you some questions that have been going through my head all day and after the other day after we talked. But here's the deal too, people. You know, Kelly's going through this with his family. He's going through this, with his wife and his family. And yet, every day I get a scripture reading from Kelly, and that picks me up. I told him one time, and when I messaged him back, I said, you don't know how I needed this today. And so this conversation goes on and on every day. I'm just lucky enough, like I said in the last episode, I was going to kind of go on a hiatus, but and if I thought there was a great conversation, and this is it. And I don't want to keep on talking all the time. So, Kelly, let's hear a little. Give us an update on the cancer diagnosis and stuff like that, and then let's just talk
Yeah.
about this stuff because I have a lot of questions.
Yeah. So I'll just start out like last October, I found a lump on my neck. I was shaving right around in here and found a lump and went and took that to my doctor and she thought we needed to get a sonogram. So we did that. It was inconclusive. Next step was a biopsy and they biopsied it and it came back positive for cancerous cells. And I had to go in for a couple other scans and a bone marrow biopsy. And then I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's B cell lymphoma, and it's follicular. So it's a lymphatic cancer, and mine specifically is one that really affects the white blood cells. And so it's not a red blood cell cancer; it's a white blood cell cancer. And so um, the we caught it early. It's not fatal. A lot of people live with this, and the I guess the hardest part for me was when they told me that it was not curable, but it was we could maintain it. We could get it under control, and so I might go 5, 10 years here and have to go back through this process again. Um, so they're just going to have to keep tabs on it. And so my treatment plan then was I had 4 weeks of chemo and immunotherapy every week. And then I had 4 more sessions monthly or 6 sessions monthly. So I just finished uh, the fifth of the monthly sessions. I have one more monthly session of chemo. And then I start every other month for 12 sessions and immunotherapy to keep it in remission, and hopefully that's where it's at. Our everything's good right now. I mean, as far as my blood work coming back, we're gonna have some tests run. I'll probably have to do another PET scan and CAT scan. Um, but I still have 2 years of treatment left on the calendar, which I didn't realize it was going to be that length of time for me. Now, 3 weeks after my first chemo treatments, um, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer. And then as we progressed through her diagnosis, they found it on both sides. And so about a month ago, she had a bilateral mastectomy. And we're going through that process right now. Um, she's 4 weeks into the healing process. She probably has another 4 weeks of healing to do. Um, with that, they took 12 lymph nodes out of her left arm that had cancerous cells. And so she's kind of been one arm only. I mean, the other arm's not working quite right. She did start her physical therapy for that. And then she starts chemo on the 27th, and she has 20 weeks of chemo, and then another 6 weeks of radiation after that. And then she'll do some hormone therapy. So they're looking at over a year before she's done with all of her stuff. Uh, the positive part of all of this is we caught it early. And for her, they're looking at cure. We're going to eliminate it, get rid of it, and she'll have a cure. She'll be cured. So that's huge. But it's just this long length of time as we both go through this, and the travel because of where we live. Minimum an hour and 20 minutes to get to our doctors that are oncologists. And then for her, we've been going down to Sioux Falls from Oaks, North Dakota to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is about 3.5, 4 hours because they've got a great cancer center down there. And that's where we're at. I mean, it's part of our life right now. And it's the main part, trying to get healthy. And fortunately for us, we've got grown kids. They live in the area and they've been really, really helpful. We're blessed to have them around. Yep. So that's kind of where we're at.
Well, and it it's it's one of those things that we talked about this the other day, that having both of you going through this, and you sent me your daughter's post the other day, and how they are handling it, because that has to be the toughest thing in the world. I mean, you have if you have one going through it and one not, then you kind of have somebody to lean on. But when you have
Mm-hmm.
both of you going through this, and the kids are going, I mean, it's never the thought that you want to have, but you're going, mom and dad both have cancer. What's what's going on here? Yeah, I have to say it has to be stressing them out a little bit.
Yeah, I think it has. That cancer word, is scary for everybody because we always look at that as like the death toll. Like that bell's starting to ring. Somebody's ringing that bell, and um, it they've made so many advances nowadays that it's not always the nail in the coffin, and trying to help my kids stay positive, and not really knowing where they are, like that post I sent you, really kind of helped me to see into what my oldest daughter is thinking and dealing with. The other three aren't really that expressive about it. I did talk with my oldest son, his name's Jack, and asked him how he felt about it. And he goes, at first he said, I was really worried. He goes, but you've convinced me that we'll get through this. And I was like, well, I appreciate that, that he's at least looking at it that way. And me, man, I'm super positive about stuff. And I don't always understand why things happen the way they do. Um, I'm just trying to figure it out as I go, and trust not just what's happening for me, but also what I feel like God is doing. I got strong faith in him. He's testing me. That's for sure. I mean, it,
Well,
learning to
it
trust in the face of chaos and confusion is hard.
well, it's funny because we've talked about the crucible in other episodes, and
Yeah,
this is certainly a crucible here. My
yeah,
gosh,
for sure.
uh, I was talking to a guy yesterday, and we were talking about things, and I said, you know what, I don't think I'm going to pray for strength because I don't need to be tested.
Yeah, yeah,
But he pointed out, and then you've pointed out before, God will give you what you can handle, and maybe push the limits sometimes. But
yeah.
to
I'm
me,
sure. I'm sure he pushes the limits. I can testify he pushes the limits. Right.
but then on the other hand, when we were talking about having this conversation too, you've given your life to God for 30 years or more.
Oh yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying in the pasture part.
yeah,
A-
yeah.
And then both of you and Rhonda get it, and it's like, what? I've been giving you all the grace and everything, God. What's
Um,
going on here?
yeah, I've had those wrestling matches. Like, I don't know how you don't have that and have some questions. Um, God and I like to wrestle. I guess he likes to wrestle with me anyway, because I do. I have those questions. 30 plus years in serving him through the church as a pastor, and you go, well, this is my gold watch retirement thing. I mean, is that what you're doing? Like, most guys get a gold watch when they retire. Most guys, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm looking at that. They get little gifts of good things when they hit those mile markers, 30, 40 years, and you're like, wow, this is what I get. And I know it's not that way, but that thought goes through your head, and then you're
Yeah,
asking God, why is this happening? What have I? Uh, the questions, and I think everybody wrestles with them. And as a pastor, I'm a man, human. Like, what did I do? Did I do something wrong? What did I do to deserve this? Um, what what did we do? Did we miss something? Did we not do something? Did we do something? You kind of go through that, and he's been, for me, he's been really faithful, and he's shown me some things um, as we've progressed through. You know that I've had some issues with asthma, and I have to carry this dumb inhaler around, and they told me it's a result of some allergies, some really crazy allergies. Since I started this journey with the cancer, I haven't had to use that inhaler once, not once.
Really?
Yeah, it's just really weird stuff. And my oncologist told me I'd probably been dealing with this longer than I suspected, like probably 4 or 5 years, which
Hmm.
is about the same timeline as this diagnosis with the asthma and the allergies. And so I'm just like, you just never know what's tied together. And God's healing one area and it's healing two things at once, like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm really in moments of confusion and unknowing not knowing the future. What I see is chaos. I'm trying to trust Him through this, and I do believe that it's a faith building moment. I have bad days where I question everything, um, especially when I guess the toughest part for me, Rick, has been watching my wife deal with the pain and not being able to do anything. I can't help alleviate that. The pain of what she's going through after this surgery. It's a major surgery, man. Like, it was it was supposed to be a 3-hour surgery. It ended up being 5.
Holy moly.
Yeah, and so it's supposed to be an outpatient type of deal, which I found crazy. But because of the length of time she was under, they had to keep her overnight. And then she doesn't use a lot of medication. I can't even get her to use cold medicine to alleviate the cold. So when they medicated her that heavily with that anesthesia and kept her under so long, it took her a while to come out of it. Probably 4 days, 5 days. And
That is amazing.
and we're dealing with the pain, and we're dealing with her cognitive awareness. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's because she just never had that much medication like that. And finally, I started feeling better because my wife was back. Like, she could have a conversation. She wasn't able to even have conversation there for probably 4 or 5 days. It was one word sentences, 2 words, stuff like that, just to let me know what she needed. And it was crazy. My oldest daughter was here a lot of that time helping, and it was good because in the middle of all of that, a month ago, like right after she had surgery, I had a treatment that next
Mm.
Monday. I brought her home next Monday, and so it's like these treatment days are pretty rough with the chemo. And I came home today, got here about noon, and I slept for 3 hours just because I don't have any energy after they pumped that stuff in me. So, um, my daughter and my oldest daughter, my oldest son have helped out tremendously around here. All my kids have, really, at this point. They've been there, and she's doing better. Um, she's up moving around, and I think we're a little bit ahead of the pain. She's, like I said, she started physical therapy, so that's been rough, but we're in a pretty good place now, I think. Looking at We're not even with her, we're not even halfway. Well, with either one of us, really, we're not quite halfway. So,
But, you know, I mean, I'm maybe looking at this in different ways here, but I'm saying at least you're in the tunnel. It's not like you're going into the tunnel. So sooner or later, you might see the light at the end of the
yeah,
tunnel in a year or so.
yeah,
You know what I mean? It's not like
yeah,
you're
absolutely.
just starting the whole process. At least the
Yeah,
process has started. I mean, and I would understand the taking, you know, I have seen Cindy in pain after a surgery or something, and I that's the hardest pain for somebody to
Yeah.
see because, you know, I always say, you know, I'll take all your pain because I,
Yeah.
that's easier for me, you know, than a lot of things to be able to just, you know, I'll take it. I don't like seeing the people you love suffer,
Yeah.
and those are the bad things. And yeah, it's with God, with you having cancer and your wife having cancer, and then you know there's leaning on each other is a little different. I would assume too. You know,
Yeah.
it's like you
Yeah,
said,
for
the
sure.
conversations. You and then like today, and we had the conversation. I was going to say, hey, we can do this podcast whenever, and you said no, I want to do it right after my chemo treatment, and you're toughing her out here, man.
Well, I I want people to understand that life's tough, right? And I want people to understand that even though you might be going through it, you're in the darkest part of the valley. There's light. There's hope. And I that's what keeps me moving. That's what keeps me taking this next step is I have hope. I have hope. And we just talked about this. My wife and I are like, today is May 19th. What is May 19th of 2027 going to look like? It's going to be totally different, man. Right?
Exactly.
She's going to be done with all of her stuff, hopefully, by then. Um, at least really close to the end of it. And then I'm going to have a year under my belt with one more year to go. And hopefully we're healthy. And that's the prayer, right? That's the plan.
Yeah.
We're on that trajectory right now. We're on the upside trajectory of this. But there's in this journey, there's still a lot more pain, a lot more fatigue, a lot more struggle in all of it. But there's hope because May 19th, 2027 is coming. Lord willing, we're going to see it. We're going to see it together. And we're going to be in a better place. So I just put my faith in that and hope. That's my hope. Um, I think that a lot of times we look at these bad moments and we ask, why did God do this to me? And I'm like, well, God didn't do that to us. Well, why did he let it happen? I let it happen. Yeah. I mean, we could ask that question. We could say that. I think the bottom line is we live in a broken world and life is tough. And if you don't have Jesus, I don't know how you're making it day to day. Like I just don't know where you get the strength or the hope to make it to the next day, right? Without having that faith that we have a God that is concerned about us and loves us and is in the business of taking care of us. Um, I had somebody send me a verse out of Isaiah 43, and it says, Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have summoned you by name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep you over you. When I walk, when you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. For I am the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, your Savior. And so there's some reference there Isaiah is making to the past and to the future. Um, the past are the rivers that were split open twice by God for his people to save them. And they walked through on dry ground both times. That was when when Moses took them out of Egypt and when Joshua took them into the promised land. And then the future aspect of that comes out of Daniel chapter 3, where these three loyal servants of God get thrown into a fiery furnace because they won't bow down to the king. And the king makes he makes this comment. He says, "Did we not throw three men in?" And they said, "Yeah, just three." He goes, "Well, why do I see four?" And one of them looks like the Son of God. And it was so hot they couldn't go up to the opening of the furnace. And he calls the three. He says to the three guys, "Come out. I need to talk to you." And it says they didn't even smell like smoke. So Isaiah, a prophet, is speaking of these events that are going to happen as representation of God's love for his people. And so, yeah, I'm walking through a fire right now. And it feels like I've been burned, but
I bet it
maybe
does.
not, right? But maybe not. Maybe God's doing something in me that I'm not even aware of. Thinking about these past health issues that are
Mm-hmm.
suddenly not issues right now. So I don't know. It's a refining. Same for my wife. It's like, okay, what's going on here? I don't know yet, but we're gonna find out. Like hindsight's 2020, right? So
Yeah.
let's get through the journey and then look back and see what was going on, because we might not have the answer right now, but I think the answer comes to us as we look back at the journey we've just been on. So trying to do my best to just help people understand where my strength isn't in me. I don't have any, especially right now. I don't. So it has to come from God. And but one of the biggest issues I've dealt with is I look okay, right? My beard fell out a little
Yeah.
bit, and I fell out a little bit from the chemo. And my my kids have been making fun of me when they see me in shorts because my leg hair is gone.
You're a
It's
bike
all
rider.
it's all falling out. And so I've had to trim this down. It's finally kind of coming back because I've gone to this monthly treatment instead of the weeklies. Um, but I look okay, and when I preach or I'm up front, I still look okay. But I'm not okay. Like I'm not 100%. Wish I was. I wish I was. I wish I felt as good as people think I feel by looking at me. But it's just part of it. And our community's been great. Like they've rallied around us. The school, like I sub in the school. Most viewers probably might know this, but I sub in the school. I sub at our VOTEC. I'm around students and teachers. I announce basketball games. I was doing all that stuff. Still doing it. At that time, I kind of here towards the end, it's been really rough, so I haven't taken as many sub jobs. But our community just really stood up behind both of us through this stuff and have really been supportive. Um, not just in a financial way either. Like they've just really rallied around us and let us know that they're here for us, and that's been a blessing. So not just my kids, but our community. Um, and then there's certain individuals in our life that have just really just been there, um, and it's more appreciated than I think they know. We've needed it. Just that little encouragement, just that little, hey, thinking of you, hey, praying for you. You're one of those guys that is responding back and, hey, thinking about you today, praying for you today. And that's a big deal. I got a couple other guys. I got a guy that I spent a lot of time with here in the community. We're pretty close. He's older than me by 20 years. But he calls or texts me every day, see how I'm doing, see if I need anything. Retired
That's
fella,
awesome.
and that's pretty awesome. Like you get that little encouragement from him every day, and I get it from different people. But it's good, and there's good days and bad days. Like I said, I think this journey's kind of that way anyway. But when you're going through what we've dealt with and are dealing with, it's a little. The good days are maybe a little better, and the bad days are maybe just a little bit worse. So.
Yeah. Well, it's I I believe that you need to call or text those people anyway because
Hmm.
and you're those one of those people because I s- you were talking earlier about the world we live in and I think we have lost purpose.
Yeah.
And if we haven't lost purpose, we've lost significance.
And I think that it's both of those things. I think you're hitting the nail right on the head, man. Like,
And without empathy, without any of the feelings that we should have, I feel I need to, and it's not like a need. I feel if you have friends And if you truly care for your friends, they're not acquaintances, but they're
Mm-hmm.
friends. You need to show up for your friends, even though I'm not in Oaks, North Dakota.
Yeah.
I'm going to text you. You text me every day, or and send me a scripture, send me this or that. If it's not reciprocated, if it's not, that's that's like saying there's only one person in this relationship or friendship,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not the way I work.
Right.
I do get mad when I have to say I do get mad when you think you have a good relationship with somebody and they just like it feels like you're just there when they need you.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want my friends to feel like that's me. I'm going to
Yeah.
text and call you. And I'm not, it's, we talked about 24 hours to live. We talked about my mom. We talked about this and
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
But when I text you, I'll say, how you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Or call you. But I don't need to talk about what you're going through all the daggone time because you the reason I'm saying that is I don't I try to put it in a different perspective of what else is going on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to have to think about yeah, I had chemo today or you know, I want you to think about something different to put a positive thought into your head for a little while. I I've been I don't I know you've seen probably I don't know if you saw today, but I've been posting about those gifts that we don't even see, that we're all gifts to this world.
Mm-hmm.
And to be a gift, you have to see your gift, you have to know that there's something there to be seen. And to be a gift to the world, you have to look in yourself to show the world on the outside that there are good things in this world.
Mm-hmm. We've talked quite a bit about presence, right? Like being present in the lives of the people around us. And I think too often we get presence confused with proximity. In other words, I can't be present because Rick is 6 hours away. No, that's not true at all, man. Like, present is being aware, and present is speaking into that other person when you get the opportunity. It has nothing to do with proximity. Distance between the people physically does not affect presence. I mean, we want to think it does, but it doesn't. Not in today's world with the technology that we have and the ability to be present in somebody's life, like an encouraging word, a little gift, uh, s- even if it's just a little emoji or something like that. Just that's significant, right? Saying, "Hey, hi, I'm thinking about you. I got you on my mind, and my heart is there in your corner, and I'm praying for you." Or you know, you know what I'm talking about. So
I
I,
do.
I think I think that's huge, and I think that we make a difference in people's lives when we do those things, when we are aware of how important it is to be present. Um, that idea, the purpose and the significance. Um, I need to realize that I matter, so that I can help someone else realize they matter. Right?
Yep.
I think we get mixed up and we allow our purpose and our to to flame out. We think it's something different, and really, that's when we lose our significance in this world and the impression that we might make on another person. And so, it's being available. Just be available, right? Just be
Yeah.
available. You're going to get a nudge. You'll get a push that direction, and when it hits your head, follow through with it. A lot of times we push it to the side. Oh, I don't want to bother them today. They're going through too much already. They don't need me messing with them or talking to them. And that's not true. Like, bother me, right? Like I want to be bothered. So I can realize that at least I matter to somebody. And uh, I don't have those issues. I probably did at some point, but I don't really have those issues anymore because I realize who I am, and I do matter. But there's a lot of people going through a lot of hurt and a lot of darkness, and they don't even know if they matter to anybody. And the people that they matter to would miss them terribly if they weren't there, but they aren't willing to reach out to that person, right? And be present in that moment with them. And so I just want to encourage that. Like, if you know somebody in your life that's going through a valley, a dark time, figure out how to be present. That's so important, right? And then for those who are dealing with stuff like I'm dealing with or we're dealing with, know that there's a light and you're not in the darkness alone, right? So,
Exactly. And I like what you just got done saying because we talked about this a long time ago when you say, "M- when we talked about that conversation that I had with my mom. I didn't have that
mm-hmm,
conversation. I had this nagging thing to say, call her over the weekend,
mm-hmm,
and I thought I was going to wait till Monday to do that so I would have a long conversation with her. And then I never got to talk to her again.
mm-hmm,
So now, after us talking about that stuff, when I get that thought in my head, when it pops into and it, it could be you or anybody else. Whenever I get that thought about that person, they're getting a text or a call right away because
mm-hmm,
I'm not gonna hold back anymore.
right.
I'm gonna be present. That that person came into my head for some reason, and I
That's
don't
it.
know why they did, but there's a reason. And like you have texted me at certain times of the day that, and I've had other friends like you. I was feeling lonely, and all of a sudden, boom, my phone blows up. Like, and it's like, what is going on here? Like, thank you. I needed that,
Mm-hmm,
and I wish more people they they don't think about the effect that it would have on somebody if you just sent them a text, just called them and
yeah,
let them talk. And like I said, I'm not going to call you and say, hey, how was that needle today and how'd that
yeah,
chemo go through your
right,
system?
right.
I'm going to say, hey, I drew a Utah mule deer tag. What do you think about that? Or,
Yeah,
whatever else.
right.
I'm not taking a muzzle loader, so I think I'll hit it, kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah, thanks. I felt that one. That stung a little
Okay.
bit.
Okay.
uh, uh, that's funny. I've really worked hard and I've asked God in my life to help me be more sensitive to that little nudge, right? That little, hey man, text that guy. Okay, call that guy. Leave a message on his if his voicemail's working, leave a message. Just let him know. And that's been really important, I think, in my journey, just in connecting with people and my desire to be present. Like I want to be there, and I know that the proximity of where I live compared to man, there's more than a handful of guys. You're one of them. Um, the distance is there, but the presence it still matters, and your presence in my life matters. And I believe this. My presence in your life matters, and I believe it matters in all these other relationships that have been brought across my path. Now, I don't think any of this stuff is by accident. I think it's if we take time to really look at it, we'll see these little divine appointments that have shown up. And it's like I said, looking back. So I got to preach this Sunday for our graduation Sunday. And the verse that I used was Psalm 23:6, which says, surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life, and I will live in the house of the Lord forever. And that's David on his deathbed looking back. And he sees all the moments where he failed, where he wasn't good enough, where he blew it. And he says, God's love and mercy, his goodness, love, and mercy have been following me. So in those moments, even when I blew it, he was there. And he provided all of that, the goodness, the love, and the mercy in those moments. And we forget that. And so I think it's important to look back and recognize that God's there even when we don't see him, when we don't feel him, when we think we're all alone, when we think we're in some desert or some deep dark cavern and there's no way out. God's there, and he provides people at just the right moment when we need him most. And it's up to us as those people at times to be sensitive. Let me use a word that might attack our masculinity a little bit. Tender. We need to be more tender to that nudge, because we have no idea what those people around us are going through. Even a lot of times those people we're closest to, because we all buy into the lie that no one cares. Even my best friends, my brothers don't care. Um, so we just suck it all in and try to deal with it ourselves, which is the worst thing we can do, right? And so it's important because God knows how hard-headed and stubborn I am with some of this stuff. And so he has to nudge these people to remind me that I matter to somebody, that they do care, that what I'm dealing with, it matters. So it matters to them that are around me. And God wants to use them to speak a word of life into where I'm at, because where I'm at feels like the land of death. Right? So it's huge.
Well, when I get up on Crow Peak, I wave at you because you're in North Dakota and flat. I try to
Northeast, baby.
I go like this, yeah. but you're right. You're so right though, because we don't look. I mean, if we're looking at tenderness, we're looking at a tender muscle that probably got strained or this and that. We aren't looking at it from the brain mental side of things. About
Mm-hmm.
we need to learn those signs, and I think it's not unmasculine to go do that stuff, because
Mm-hmm. No, not at all. I
I,
think it's powerful.
it is powerful, and I think we need to have people know that we are there thinking of them. And in today's day and age, where suicide is rampant,
Mm-hmm.
and by us not acknowledging that it is rampant, what would that one phone call or text have done for somebody?
Right.
That's where I'm going with that. And the other thing is, the devil. I mean, you're the pastor. I'm not the pastor, but the devil will either send you to the places where you think you're all alone and there is nobody there, and you'll keep on bouncing off your head, and you will not ask for help because you won't. And I used to be that person that thinks that I would be bothering people. I just text them anyway anymore.
Right.
And the other thing is, the devil will, if that doesn't work, he'll show you the shiny things to get you away from those people that you say, so you will feel like you don't need them.
Right.
And
Yep.
you need to be, like you said, we're in we think proximity, we don't think presence, and we
Mm-hmm.
need to be present with the people that are so important to us, because it's not just family, it's your family, I mean, in the essence of you're my brother in life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we've had those hard talks before, and I just wish more people wouldn't be afraid to have those hard talks, or to just express some emotion. Don't the one thing that bothers me the most is the people that will say, I don't talk like that. I can't talk. For me, like, will say, I can't talk like you. Well, that's an
Mm-hmm.
excuse. You can talk like you. You can talk
Yeah.
like whoever else. But at least talk. At
Mm-hmm.
least express something. Because
Yeah.
I hate, I highly dislike when there is something out there and you can't talk about it with me. But I'm probably, I'm just, I try to be as close to the invisible man as possible because what I'm talking about that is transparent because I have nothing to hide. You
Right.
have, and you were talking about David, and you and I have talked about David a lot. And
Yeah.
it's funny because when I was going through the stuff I was going through, you gave me Psalms, and maybe you're the one that made me a big. I'm a David fan,
Yep.
in the fact that I know I'm not perfect, and I know I've made mistakes, and I've made big and little mistakes, but I've also done good. And when you can start seeing that you're doing good and keep it up, that's where it goes. And
Hmm.
and it's funny, you and I have talked about doing a podcast together. I'm not, I'm not going to say anything much more about that, but these kind of conversations are what people need to hear.
Hmm.
And you are real. You and Rhonda are real in the fact that you're allowing me to come into your life and ask you these questions, and you're real that the family is around you. And it's not just your kids. You have extended family, not by blood, but by
Right.
presence.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we just need to learn that like when because you've taught me more than most. Because there's times eh, I maybe every 2 to 3 months that I get really, really, really down, and it's like the devil is in my head just bouncing off the inside, and I have to realize that you send me a text then and all that goes away because something, I mean, at the perfect time when you think
Yeah.
like I said, you're totally alone,
Yeah.
and we need to be present.
Well, I think that's evidence that there's a God who sees us, right? And he says, "Oh man, he's losing focus, and I need to get his attention. Hey, Kelly, or hey, Brian, or do something here. Okay, boom, and it's just that nudge, right? And um, there's so many times you sent me, oh, I needed that today. Thank you so much, and I'm just like, well. I sent it to you because I wanted you to have it. I didn't know that you were working through something right there. And that's the God part of it, right? Like, boom. And there's moments when you said, "Hey, I'm praying for you today." I'm like, "Ah, oh, wow. Yeah, thank you, Lord, for that. I needed that. I needed that little bit of encouragement, right?" And you sent that. And I go, "Thanks, man. Yeah, thanks, Rick. Thanks, brother." Because I'm in that moment too. And we all have those. Um, uh, uh, Jesus is talking in John about the shepherd and the sheep. And I can't remember the exact verse right now. My brain's not working quite right. But he says, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. And I have to remember that when I feel like I'm getting beat up, that my enemy is trying to steal from me. He's trying to steal from me my strength. And my strength is not in my physical strength. It's in my relationship with God and the people that he's placed around me. And when I don't lean on those two types of relationships, I'm allowing him to steal. And then he's there to kill. He wants to kill my faith. He just wants to absolutely obliterate it. And he tells me no one cares, not even God, right? And I think it's not by accident that the verse says steal, kill, and then destroy. You usually think killing is destroying, but it's not, man. The destruction is the destruction of the relationship. And you look at our society today, and that's where the enemy is working his best. He is absolutely destroying relationships. That's what he's doing, and he uses the stealing and the killing to do it. So
I agree. Yeah.
we've got to have that. We've got to have that faith in a higher power, and then we've got to have faith that we're surrounded by people that higher powers brought into our life.
Well, and I also think that, I mean, in the last probably 2 months, I mean, I've had this, like, I don't know what it is. It's kind of like a sinus infection, but not. It's like I just got drugged down and I was tired, and then you're overwhelmed
Yeah.
because you're trying to do way too much, and that's nothing to what you have. But what I'm saying is, I think we're both. I mean, when you become overwhelmed, you start going into different directions. You're
Mm-hmm.
just there are so many people and so much stuff in your head that it feels like you're William Wallace and being pulled by all in all directions. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like in the end, and then somebody slices you open, and you're trying to figure this out, and that's where I really need the present. I need that nudge, which you seem to have given me when at the perfect time. And I understand it's a higher power doing that probably, but it's just one of those things that comes in the right time, and I truly appreciate that because I think you are exuding strength when you're even having this conversation, and I see how people would think that, yeah, he's going through this stuff, but Telly is one tough son of a gun, and it's not bothering him. But so I'm glad that you're saying that you do get tired,
Oh
and
man, like
people need to hear that stuff.
I sure don't feel tough. I sure don't feel good. Um, I question like everybody else does. I think I've gone through the same questions. Yeah, I think it's just hard, and I don't think we're willing to talk about it enough. Like I'm in a place that I'm not familiar with because I've never been here. I've never been at this level of exhaustion. I've never dealt with this level of uh, hurt. Right? Like I'll tell you, I thought I only had 4 treatments left last time, so last month, and in my conversation, because I meet with my oncologist before every treatment. And so last month he said, "Oh no, you got 2 more." And I just, man, you talk about just being disheartened. Like I felt my heart just sink because I am so tired of this. Like this is, let's see, I had 4 and 6, so this is number 9. And I know there's people who have had way more than I have. Ron is going to have way more treatments than I've had, but it's 3 days a week. It's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So I still have another one tomorrow morning at 9, but it's more of a cleanup type treatment. It's helping to flush everything out. Um, you just get tired of it, right? Even the little, like I got a port in my chest, and they put a needle in that, and it just every time it's a little, it's just it's a little prick. It's a little, but you get 9 in, and you're just like, I'm tired of it. I just want it to be done. So I had a really rough time last month just because two more two more monthlies. Oh, good night. You get there,
Hmm.
and then I get home, and I don't want to say that God adjusts my attitude, but He does a little bit because I get home and I see what my wife's dealing with, and you're like, okay, man, if she can do that, I just need to. It's one more step. We'll get through it, right? Like, all right, you're gonna have to help get me out of this. And then I get a call from Rick, or I get a call from one of my other buddies, Frank or Kelly, and they're helping pick me up in that moment. And I think that's important. And then I should share that moment, right? Like,
Yeah.
how today kind of sucked because I found out I have 2 more, and the chemo's awful. It's just it's just awful. That whole experience. I wouldn't wish that. And they take care of me there. Like they're good to me. It's just it's the medication, man. It's just like today. It's just you just want to be done. And I'm not saying done with life. You just want to be done with that. You want to be done with.
Oh yeah,
I,
yeah. I
I
understand
want to
what
get
you're
this
saying.
stinking needle out. I got a needle in my chest right now for tomorrow. They leave it in, and I won't sleep well tonight. It's just the way it works, and you just want to be done with it. But then, on the flip side of it, I have hope that it's going to be over soon, and I want to be healthier, and I'll be somewhat back to normal where I can help people and walk with people. And um, one of the guys reminded me, his name's Jason. He said, "You got to let people help you, man. You just you. I know it's hard because you do this for others. Now it's time for you to receive." And I go, "I don't know if I can do that." And he goes, "You have to. You have to. You're going to block other people's blessings if you don't allow God to use them to step into your life and help you." And man, that was one of the biggest 2x4s because I haven't ever had to depend on anybody like that, right? That it's dude, it humbles you pretty quick.
And I believe
So,
that. I believe
right?
that you need to step aside, and some people don't, and I'm one of them. You want to hear something? I mean, like I said, it's not what you, it's not cancer, but when when I set up my colonoscopy appointment, I
Yeah.
knew Cindy was going to be in Alaska. And when they said that this is a date, and I said, "Yeah, I'll be able to handle it. You know, I'll go do this stuff. She'll be in Alaska." And then they say you can't leave the hospital unless you have somebody drive you home. And I thought, well,
Right.
I don't know who I want to have drive me home. And then Cindy was like, "You need to ask for help." So I did it the week before I went to when we went to Alaska. She went back up there, and
Hmm.
I did it that Tuesday before. But it's like asking for help and thinking you're tough are two
Yeah.
different things.
Right.
And then in the end, you know, I mean, and I have to give people. I am that that's the first time I've ever been poked and prodded in my whole life since I had my tonsils out.
Yeah. Yep.
And then they, I have to give you this. Excuse me, but they ask if you're uncomfortable. And I'm saying, I'm freaking naked underneath here.
We're so
You,
uncomfortable.
I am uncomfortable. I've never been here. And then when waking up from the anesthesia, I didn't realize I was like drunk. I've never,
Yeah.
because I hadn't been under it for that.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
having Cindy there was one of my smart moves.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
don't, me, I make a
You
lot of dumb moves, but
Hey, but yeah,
that
but
was
you
one of my
got it.
smart
Hey,
moves.
hey, the truth is, in that moment, because I've gone through that, right? Like I've done that too. You gotta, you got somebody you gotta trust to be in that room when you're coming out, because
Yeah.
there's some bad things that could be asked in that moment, and some information revealed. So
I
you got
hear
to be
you.
able to trust that person that's driving you home to not
Yeah.
ask the questions, and if something does come out, to keep it.
Exactly. You- but I mean, you're going through this stuff. Like I said, Rhonda's going through it, and I look at a little colonoscopy as something major, and it's nothing in the aspect. But people like you, we talked about that 3 a.m. friend, and I'm whittled down to about two people or three. But those are the things to be, and I think I've said it before, or at least I posted it. Is do you know who your 3 a.m. friend is? But
Hmm.
are you the 3 a.m. friend? And
Yeah.
that's the difference in this whole life. Is are you a 3 a.m. friend? Could
Mm-hmm.
Kelly call me at 3? Because you'd have to call me at midnight. I'd be there at 6. But I mean, that's because I'm a ways away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you know what
Yep.
I mean? Would Rick show up?
Right.
And those are the things that are the present part. That's what we were talking about earlier. Are you that 3 a.m. friend? And I truly believe that, yeah, give me a call. I'm on my way. There's a few other people. And I know I would never call you now at 3 a.m. for a while, but I mean, I know that there's those people that if I said I was in trouble, I need you for something,
Yeah, for
you'd be
sure.
there.
Yep.
You know, and I think so many people want the 3 a.m. friend, but they don't want to be the 3 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
friend.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you're right.
that's and so who's gonna stand up for the? I think that's the true friendship about things.
Yeah.
People say
There's
busy. Busy is a bad word.
Yep.
It's a
I
four-letter
think
word
it
at
boils
that.
down to loyalty, right? I think it's
Yeah.
loyalty. Um, there's a quote, and I'm going to probably butcher it, but loyalty one way is, what's the word I'm looking for there? But loyalty only one way is enabling, or it's manipulation. And when you look at that, um, that's not loyalty. That's me being naive, I think, a little bit. If the loyalty's only going one way, if I'm the 3 a.m. friend and I expect that from this other person, but they're not, they never have been. Like, so so there's a loyalty that's got to be developed, and that's developed in that relationship. It's over time. Because 3 a.m. friends don't just show up. 3 a.m. relationships develop,
Oh, definitely.
right? And I've said this often. You're going to get out of every relationship what you pour into it. It's a two-way street. And if I'm not truly looking out for your best interest and wanting you to succeed, then why should I expect that back? Right.
Yep.
And so in these moments, we've got to desire that for the people that God's brought into that inner circle, those 3 a.m. friends. Yeah. And man, I can say that I've been blessed to have a handful of guys like that in my life. I know you're one of those, Rick. If I needed you, you'd be here as quick as you could get here, right? I got a couple of other guys like that. If I needed them right now, they'd be here as quick as they could get here, and with the understanding of proximity, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, that's huge. A, a handful, maybe five. That's pretty good, because I don't know if very many people have one,
In this
right?
day and age, I truly don't think that people do. I think selfishness has taken over.
Yeah. Well,
In
this goes back to where you started with purpose and significance.
mm-hmm.
What's the purpose? The purpose is me.
Mm-hmm.
Get what I can. Build my own portfolio. Me first. And then you start to lose significance, because the truth is, if I'm that way, if that's my attitude, I already know how that story ends, man. That
Yep.
that story is no good. That ends in me dying at some point, and I can't take it with me. So what now? Um, realizing my purpose is not just to get as much power and as much material wealth and as much stuff around me as I can. My purpose is to encourage others and leave fingerprints on them, not necessarily my fingerprints, but the fingerprints of the one I serve, and hope that through the interactions we have, they grow and they can be better. I just saw this quote too. A man's son is the only other man on the planet he wants to be better than him. And I think God gives us all these opportunities to pour into people. And the truth is, Rick, I pour into you because I hope you become a better man than me. I pour into other guys because I want them to be better than me. I want them to be better men. better husbands, better fathers, uh, better community members, better friends, um, better men. And so I don't just wish that for my own two boys. I wish that for and I hope for that with my two son-in-laws, and then those people that God's brought into my life. My goal is for those around me to become better than the person that I am. That's my hope, and that gives me purpose. And then that what I do becomes significant, and from that significance, uh, there is a fulfillment. Right? I know. I just know deep down that this is stuff that's going to matter more than anything else I could do. Right? That's it. That has nothing to do with being called to be a pastor. That has uh, nothing to do with where I come from or who my daddy was. It has everything to do with who I am made to be. Right?
Yeah, because it's funny you say that because I am probably annoyingly trying to help people and point things out, and then I know that you can give so much. I'm not trying to give advice. I'm trying to point out that if you would change that little thing right there, or if you would look and see what you're doing to the people around you,
Yeah.
what would that be? And you know, like I just I just see a lot of things in life, and I try to edge people into what I've seen, and it's not that it's like I have the cliff notes because you know what, I screwed up in that situation myself.
Yeah, yeah. If
You
you step
know,
there, that's going to hurt. You know, a guide. That's what they do. Is they guide you. That's what guides do, right? Like, and why does a guide someone else? Well, number one, the guide's been over that same stretch of ground over and over and over, and he's learned if I step there, that hurts. If I go over there, I'm gonna get tangled up. He knows, and I think that's what is great about you and your heart is you got that guide's heart. You want to guide people. You want to help them see where the trail is so they can get to the destination that they're moving towards. And I don't think, okay, maybe you think that's annoying, but I think that that's good.
well, that's good to hear. You know, and it's interesting because the funny thing is, I mean, if we took the, I mean, I know what you're talking about the spiritual guide right there, but if we were talking like the spiritual guide and put it in with a hunting guide, it's the
Yeah.
people need to trust who you are. They need to
Yeah.
trust, like, if I'm going to come to North Dakota and hunt a whitetail deer up there, even though it's what is it, 2.5 hours from where I grew up, three
Mm-hmm.
maybe,
Yep.
um, they're different deer,
Yeah. Yep.
and I need to listen to you.
Yeah.
And you need to listen to me if you're out here elk hunting,
Yeah.
or we were whitetail hunting. What I'm saying is you need to trust that that guide knows what the area is and how to handle this situation.
Yeah. For sure.
And I think, you know, like I said, I've tried. I still like I may be guiding, but I'm still like being that annoying person to a few people because I think they could better themselves. But anyway, here's the one thing that's interesting to me that I wrote down
Okay.
because you and Rhonda, you think life is going great, okay? And I know you're not materialistic people, but here's the thing: how many times have we heard you can always make money, but you can't always have your health? And then when you have two people in the same household, husband wife, have this journey of cancer, did did reality set in, or can you use that as an example to other people? Like, you know what? We're going through this. And if you understand what I'm saying, is like you guys have this, and you're going to get through it. I'm going to fight my way through this. We can always
Hmm.
make money. We can always do this. But you know what? I can't always have that relationship with my son. I can't have that relationship with my daughter or my grandkids or whatever else. Did that reality come into effect? That, I mean, there has to be a mortality thought that comes into your head when things happen like this.
Well, time, right? Like we don't. I don't know if we. I think there's moments, but we don't often think about time as an investment that you can't get back, right? Like what you're talking about. So I lose money, I can go make money. I lose time, I can't get that. I can't get that back. If I waste time, if I invest it poorly, I can't make that up. If I invest money poorly, I I can make that up. I can work harder. I can work another job. I can make better decisions, and I can earn that money back and replace it. I can't do that with time. So with my kids, there's that understanding that I've spent a lot of time chasing something else. I reflected on this, chasing chasing my responsibilities for the church, chasing my I think what I ended up coming to in concluding is that for a long time I thought my call to be a pastor had more to do with the church when really it was about relationship with Jesus and those he put in my life, right? Like I could still pursue the call to pastor people outside of the institution of church. And honestly, if you look at a lot of the relationships that I've had with people, they didn't, this is the crazy part. Most of the significant relationships I've had and built with people, they weren't part of the church when I started at that church, right? But
Yeah.
that's the way I'm wired, man. And for some crazy reason, I got it mixed up. And so God begins to show me that. And then what he shows me is I sacrificed a lot of time with family for that crazy institution. And so if he's going to give me time to invest in my family through this process and we can build stronger relationships. And I believe that in the last 9 months ish, what would that be? 9 months? Yeah. 10 months, our family unit like has grown stronger. We're tighter and stronger than we ever have been. We've because Ron and I have had to rely on the kids a lot, and that's been good. In the middle of all of this, uh, 3 grandbabies. That's crazy, man. Right?
Yeah.
Like so, we're we have reevaluated what life should look like. I think that's what you're asking me. Like this idea of mortality, and I got I got less time in front of me than I have behind me. Like I got way more time behind me now than I have in front of me, and
Well,
realizing I need to invest that better. Right?
well, you actually answered my question in a
Okay.
different manner, but it's more what you got into there just a little bit ago is since we value the money, the life that we're living in that aspect, but
Hmm.
when your health turns, you learn the value of time.
Yeah.
You
Yep. For sure.
do you think and especially with you guys together having it, the value of time in relationship, which we talked about relationship earlier in this, but the value of the time is more important now probably
Hmm.
than it was a year ago.
Yeah. For sure. Yep. Oh yeah. Yep.
And
It's funny because we were kind of on this journey, about a year ago, my dad got, my dad battled prostate cancer for 12 years. And then he passed away last year on Memorial Day. When he was sick there last spring, it started to hit us, I think, then the value of time. We don't have much time with our own parents. Either set, my dad was 82. My mom is now 81. We've come a full year. She's living in Atchison, Kansas. We're trying to figure some of that stuff out. That's 9.5 hours away. My brother's closer. He's about an hour from her, but she's 81 now, and she's surprisingly healthy and doing well. But it weighs on our minds and our hearts. Like we need to be closer. Time. Um, Her mom and dad. Her dad was just diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So time. We're less and less time with our parents, which then going through this, less and less time with our kids, and to be grandparents, and what kind of grandparents do we want to be, and how do we want to influence family and pour into family. And so yeah, absolutely, it's changed. Like I think God kind of had us on that journey before we got the cancer diagnosis with our own family, our own parents. But it even hit harder once. Well, I'd say it hit hard when I was diagnosed, and it hit hard again when she was diagnosed. It's like, okay, what's important, right? And so
yeah,
we're figuring all of that out. It does make a huge difference.
and I've been a big proponent of time,
Mm-hmm.
time spent. It comes up with me a lot that I try to tell people you don't have all the time in the world.
Mm-hmm.
These are choices you are making that you don't really realize how you're affecting the people around you because I did a little thing about the gifts I was telling you about. I did my
Mm-hmm.
podcast about gifts, and I was talking about the people. I know about 4 or 5 people that they think that work is the most important thing to them, and they work they work tirelessly, like up early, come home, still working or whatever, and they lose that relationship with their kids because they're continually focused on just work. And my thoughts with that is the kids didn't choose to be your kids. You chose to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
And are you going to, and I'm not saying you have to be there 300, every day, every hour, every minute, but you choose how you want that relationship with your kids. You choose if work is more important. When you start showing kids that work is more important than them, then we start
Mm-hmm.
then the cat's in the cradle and the silver
Yeah.
spoon.
I,
and
I,
and and that's the way it goes.
well, I think that it's because of what we've been talking about, purpose and significance and what matters. And then that fulfillment. We bought into this lie that our success defines us, right? So I'm defined by my occupation and my success in that occupation. And so what do I do if I don't have that? What's my identity? And I think that's what's important about knowing who you are and not allowing anything that's so uh temporary to define us. I mean, you think about it, like I my grandfather was a bootmaker. Well, that's how they knew him in town. He's the bootmaker.
Yep.
Well, that's not who he is. He's got a family and he's got kids, and he's his identity. That's just his title. That's not his identity. And however good he was at making boots, had no um, had no reflection or had no definition of his character. His character defined his work. See, and we get that mixed up. We think our work's going to define our character and who we are, and so we we allow that lie to steal our time, which kills our relationships with our family and with our friends and the people around us that God's placed in our life. And ultimately, we're destroyed in the end, right? That enemy that comes to kill, steal, and destroy. So it's it's just a vicious cycle, and we see that a lot. It's still prevalent today. Um, People who are defined by their occupation, specifically the success they have in that field. It's who they are, and it's like, no, that's not who you are. Like that should flow out of who you are.
It should, because that character is like you said, is the definition of who they are,
Hmm.
not the success of their career or whatever else. Because you know, it's funny. this is the toughest thing for me to tell you. It is like, but Walter Payton was a great running back, but Walter Payton also has the award for being good to the community. How many
Hmm.
people every year they give away the Walter Payton Award? Now,
Yep.
was he? That's not, that award isn't defined on his running back abilities. The the it's defined on the character and the giving back to the communities that
Yeah.
community he lived in. I mean, the reason
Yeah.
I said it was hard for me to say anything nice about it,
Because it's the
Chicago
Bears,
Bear.
baby. Well, look, I think that if you, and I've done some studies on different leaders. One is General Patton. He was successful, but his reputation and his character weren't defined by his success on the battlefield. His success on the battlefield was a result of his character,
Yeah.
right? Who he was. Because a lot of times he was like, I don't care what they said, we're going to do this. Because
Hmm.
he knew what it was going to take to win. And so his success on the battlefield was a result of who he was as a person. You can look at like George Washington, if you do any deep study into him, his success as a general on the battlefield and then later as a president, that didn't define him. That was the outflow of his character and who he was as a person. And so a lot of these leaders that we see and we look up to, I General Lee, Stonewall Jackson, um, dip, different presidents that we look at, Teddy Roosevelt, right? Like Teddy Roosevelt wasn't defined by the parks that he created. That was the result of his passion and the character that made him who he was. And we get that we've gotten that totally backwards in today's world, that culture, right?
Yeah,
We
definitely.
try to define it totally differently, and it really has to come down to who am I, what am I made to do, am I willing to follow those passions, and can my character be the source of that identity, right?
Hmm.
Instead of what I do becoming the source and then reflecting back on me. It's totally different. It's just part of the Western world. We've twisted it. So that's why we're here. I mean, honestly, we're here to guide people into this moment of revelation and understanding of who they are, to get them out from underneath that lie.
Well, I hope I can, and I hope I do, because I'm, like I said, I'm an annoying guy then in that aspect, because I'm not going to give up.
Yeah, no, that's part of what this is about, right? Once we give up and quit, then what?
Yeah, and
Right?
exactly.
Then
And
what?
and it's funny because if you were, I make a joke about being annoying, but if I was annoying, they'd say get the heck out. But they want to talk. It's
Hmm.
just that I'm not giving up.
Right.
So anyway, I know we've been talking for about an hour and a half now, so yeah, I know you're tired, but we need to do this again,
Yep. You tell me when,
'cause,
man.
and then we need to figure out our other stuff here for later when
Yeah.
you get better.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
but
I'd love to be able to come back. I don't know. You give me the timeline, but periodic just updates and kind of talk about where we are a little bit, maybe, especially
well,
as we go
let's
through
do
the
it.
summer.
Yeah, let's do it next month.
All right. Sounds
You
good to
know what I
me.
mean? Let's try
Yeah.
in a month or so, and
Yeah.
I
For
mean,
sure.
you and I talk, so we will know, but in a month or so, and we'll see what's going on.
Yeah, and I'd love for people if if they have comments or questions, like let's get some feedback here and see what we can do to help answer some of their questions they might have about journeying through the tough parts, right? Through the thorns and the brambles. Um, uh, I did a lot of hunting in Iowa, and they like to drive deer, which and they use shotguns. They don't have a rifle season. I take that back. They might have a doe season now that's rifle, but it used to be just shotgun only. And so we would drive deer, and we have this one ridge that we used to drive all the time, and it was just covered in multifloral rose. And if you don't know what multifloral rose is, it is the worst bramble, thorny patch. You can get tangled up in there, and it is bad news. Well, sometimes life is like that, where you get so tangled up, you don't know how to get out, and you don't know what direction you're facing. Blah, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, um, I think it's good to have conversations here where we felt that way, and then, okay, so how are you working through that? How did that work out? A month later, so you told how you were working through that. What's been the end result? Well, here's where we're at. Like, this is what's worked for us. This is how we've gotten through it. This is I love to be able to help people with that because you get so lost sometimes, right, Rick? Like,
Oh yeah.
don't know where to go. I don't know how to handle it. And um, if this can help people, I want to be able to do that. So if there's questions, like give us your feedback, folks. Like ask questions. We'll do our best to answer them.
And that's what it's about too. Like that's why I love these conversations is because we are transparent. We have no problems answering the questions.
Yep.
I mean, if anybody asks me a question, if I don't know the answer, I'll certainly find somebody that can answer it better than me.
Mm-hmm.
But life's experiences have brought me to many of these answers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good or bad, I've seen things that I didn't want to, but I like I said, you don't realize that they're that they're a gift,
Right.
you know. So that's what it's about, and yeah, I'm just happy to be where we are.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Listen, man, I'm living life. It's a good thing.
I like hearing that. Um,
So
what do you want to leave what do you want to leave the listeners with tonight?
um I, two things. Um maybe three things. You are not alone in this. I don't know who I'm speaking to right now, and I've probably said this before when given the opportunity, but I want you to know you're not alone and that you matter. You are important. You matter. I can tell you right now that you are so precious to your Creator that He was willing to send His Son for you to die for you. So you matter. You're not alone. You matter, and because of that, don't give up. Keep moving forward. Be a buffalo. We've talked a little bit about that difference between buffalo and cattle. Be a buffalo. I know you got a storm in front of you. You're going to get through it if you keep moving forward. Move through the storm. Do your best and keep just keep moving. And when you need help, ask because you're not alone. So that's it. That's what I want to leave people with.
Well, thank you, Kelly, because that's a good way to end this episode. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate everything you do for us. And I appreciate, like I said, praying for you every day, and that you guys will get through this and will come out the other side, and there'll be sunshine and at the end of the tunnel here, and
Yep.
it's just, this is what life's about, and we all have to go through hardships. I just hate seeing my friends go through hardships so together.
Yeah.
But you know
Yep.
what I mean, we're going through this together, but I'm saying you and your wife having cancer at the same time, that's not
Right.
cool. So so praying for you every day. Thank you for being on. We'll talk in a month, and we'll do a
Yeah.
little catch up,
Well,
and
we'll take all
I
the prayers we can get. So,
all right. And like I said, it's so nice because everybody that comments to me, or even walking down the street, they love our conversation, so that makes me feel
mm,
good too. So thank you so much. We'll end it on, you know, what Kelly just said, and don't die, Rusty Nation. You keep chasing your dreams, being the best you. Don't die, Rusty, and know that you are important. You are special to this world. You're a gift.
yep. Yep.
So anyway, thank you, Kelly.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
All
been an
right, love
honor.
you,
Like,
brother.
I love doing this. So, any way I can help, even with this
Exactly.
stuff. So, yeah.
Yep. Love you, brother.
All right. Love you too.
I want to thank you for listening to this episode of the Don't Die Rusty podcast. And if you would be so kind to give us a review, a like, a share, and a subscribe, that'd be wonderful, and I would greatly appreciate it. And if you would like to follow us on Facebook, we're at Don't Die Rusty. If you'd like to follow us on Instagram, it's at Don't Die Rusty. And if you would like to get in contact with me, it's rick at don'tdierusty.com. And I just want to say I appreciate everybody listening, and as usual, keep chasing your dreams, being the best you, and don't die rusty.